Hi, I'm Frankie.
And I'm Cheyenne.
And we are
Conbini Cult.
Welcome to episode 9.
Yes, where this episode is about Reddit stories and some current events happening here in Japan.
Yep, should be very interesting. These are some thought-provoking topics, I think.
And one very unthought-provoking post, I think.
We will, yeah, you'll see.
We'll get to that, yeah.
Some multiple words of the day revolving around Gomi.
Or trash. Yeah. So we have Gomi, trash, or there's a word called Gomi tantou. So
the person in the neighborhood in charge of
the trash.
Cleaning up the trash after it's been collected. Because depending where you live, there might be like a steel box or cage or something, or other times it's just a net. So the Gomi tantou has to clean up the net after the garbage has been collected.
Yep. And there's also moeru Gomi. So that's burnables. You'll notice in Japan you can sort your trash burnables or unburnables. So that's moeru Gomi. Yep. And the last one is?
Sodai Gomi. Oversized trash.
Yeah. And I think we talked about trash in episode 3 as well.
Yeah.
We also covered another trash topic. No, trash story on Reddit. I don't know what it is about Japan, but yeah, there's a lot of stories that revolve around trash here. So shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just jump in. No weekly update.
No weekly updates because this was just on this day. We've recorded so many things.
Yeah. So. Nothing is going on, or maybe should be going on. I don't even know what will be going on by the time this gets posted. So
yeah, I don't know. Like today, May 1st, one of the hot topics this week has been the net that they're going to put over the Lawson, the Kawaguchiko Lawson, where you can see Mount Fuji because of unruly tourists, like leaving trash, interrupting the flow of traffic, standing in the middle of the street, breaking into the dentist's office across the street to get on their roof to get good pictures.
Oh my God. Okay, well, don't do that.
Yeah, I don't really understand why everybody wants to have the same exact picture.
Yeah. I mean, can't you just see it from all different angles and everything too? Like, why does it have to be in front of that? What is it? Lawson?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it, of course it looks cool because it's like so Japan, like a convenience store and Mount Fuji, but there are so many places where you can get a good view of Mount Fuji. You don't have to cause chaos at a convenience store and trespass onto private property.
Yeah. Wait, did you say when they already plan to put that net up?
I think it's already up.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
It's like
fast, yeah. I don't know why. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought they were going to like build a wall or something. Like just build a wall behind that Lawson.
Yeah, I haven't seen exactly what it looks like yet. I'm sure by the time this episode comes out, somebody will have seen and posted about the net. But yeah, I mean, I think it's disappointing, but also like there seems to be a lot of hate for content creators and influencers, but I really don't think it's us that are causing these problems. Like, I think it's mainly just like regular tourists.
Yeah, it's not, because I feel like content creators, you have to be aware of a lot of things when you're out filming and things like that, and I mean, it's a job, right? So you really have to pay attention to like not disrupting people and things like that. I don't know.
I mean, I can only speak for myself and my friends and the people that I associate with, but a lot of us are going out really early in the morning when nobody's there without disturbing anybody, or if it is a time when other people are there. I personally, I will scope out the area and see where I want my shot, and then I will wait for that 30-second window when there's nobody there. I'll get the shot that I need and quietly clean up and go away without disturbing anybody. So don't blame me.
Yeah. I don't know, no matter where you go, just be respectful of the place you're visiting. I don't know why we're causing unnecessary traffic and throwing away trash on the ground. That's the biggest pet peeve ever of mine. Why litter?
Yeah.
On top of that, there was that Team Labs incident too. Did you see that?
There was For the Team Labs exhibit, they have, well, it's like a museum, like an interactive museum. There's things with like
lights. It's a lot of like lights and
art.
projections and things. Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a part where you walk through the water. It's like kind of comes up to like almost your knee, depending on your height. But yeah, you tread through the water, but you're not supposed to swim in there. You're walking through the water.
Yeah.
But somebody made a video where they're like, oh, let's go for a swim.
And he like dove in.
Yeah.
Dove in, is doing like freestyle, splashing around and stuff. He made it like, I don't know, a far enough distance before a staff like caught him and was like, I didn't know. I don't know if there's anything after that, but the video just kind of gets cut off at him getting caught. But why? You know?
Yeah.
It's like.
But I feel like the people who do stuff like this, they don't care if you call them out.
They will,
because
yeah, they
they're
want the
getting
attention.
views either way.
Yeah, they just
whether
want the
you're
attention.
telling them that, like, hey, don't do that. They still get attention from it.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Just there's been a lot of cases like that where people are traveling here and just being silly, taking advantage, I think, of the kindness of a lot of people here. There was that one YouTuber that like he filmed it, recorded and posted it of how to travel like on the bullet train or some kind of train like for free, without paying, like
for
he
free
just,
in quotes,
like so hiding in the bathroom and stuff. So there's a lot of things that are going on here. So just be kind, be respectful, don't be that guy, girl. Don't be that person. Yeah, but anyway,
but I'm sure those of you listening are not going to be that person, so it sucks that others are kind of like essentially ruining it for everybody, even though most of us are just doing our best.
Anyway, that was our PSA of the day, I guess. We're grumpy. We're getting grumpy. Okay,
all right, so the first Reddit story, do you want to read this one or shall I?
Whichever one you want, you can read it.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll read it. It's pretty long. So the title, this is something that OP overheard in a bar. They overheard somebody say, quote, "It's so stupid that I have to learn Japanese to be able to get a proper job." So, okay. Let's get the context of this. The full quote, "It's so stupid that I have to learn Japanese to be able to get a proper job. It's too hard. This country needs to make English an official language if it wants to go anywhere." Unquote.
Okay.
My OP. No. My coworker took me out for a drink at the bar, and next to us, some foreigners were drinking.
Did you just see a ghost? Okay.
Okay. I found my place in the story again. My coworker took me out for a drink at the bar, and next to us, some foreigners were drinking as well. We kept to ourselves when one of them approached us and started chatting. I'm of East Asian descent, and my coworker is from Germany. We are both fluent in Japanese, but we're chatting in English. We both work at an international trading firm, using several languages as part of our work with clients, suppliers, and dealers. The chat was friendly, and the group introduced themselves as Kaiwa workers in their 50s. They have been doing it for 15 to 20 years. The conversation took a turn, and they complained about the weak yen, their low salaries, and lack of satisfaction at work. Then one of them blurted the topic, quote, out, and I just looked at him, bewildered. My coworker and I gave each other the look and continued listening to their tirade against Japan. I don't think Japan is the best place in the world, but I love it enough to live here for almost 10 years. There are good and bad things in every country, but I think learning the language, you don't have to master it, but enough to operate in daily life as an adult, is something you kind of owe the country you've moved to and yourself for personal growth and development. If you refuse to learn the language, you should also be prepared to face the consequences and limitations of what that will mean for your life here. Anyway, just wanted to share because I think if people change their mindset about learning the language, it may improve their overall life, no guarantee, and how they experience Japan.
Okay. I'm going to make an assumption about these people. Were they American dudes?
Well, native English speakers, you can assume.
Yeah. All right.
I have
thoughts?
seen many a person like this.
Yeah. They're everywhere here. And
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I want to start off by saying there's nothing wrong with like working at an eikaiwa in your 50s if that's something you genuinely love to do. I love teaching, you know?
Yeah.
But the whole like Japan needs to make English its official language?
What?
Huh? What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just very baffled.
But you know, there's a type of person, like there is a total difference between somebody who's working full-time in an English environment and their Japanese ability is not what they want it to be, because, you know, you're not immersed in it and you're tired from work, so like it can be hard to study. But there's a difference between that and somebody who actively refuses to learn the language and demands everyone else accommodate them.
That's very fair. That's very true.
That's the type of person I don't understand.
That, and like you said, it's the people who refuse, but then they have, not everybody, but a lot of the time they'll be married to Japanese people. And so they don't...
And have children.
Yeah, and so they don't speak the language of their spouse, or at least they're unwilling to, you know, even try. And if those kids are born into like a bilingual household, and let's say, you know, they spend more time with the Japanese speaking parents. So if those kids speak Japanese and then they have the parent that refuses to really like try to learn their language, like, I don't know, it really creates this disconnect between your family, you know, and like, of course, others around you in your daily life. Like, I understand learning a language is hard, but life gets so much easier if you just pick up a few phrases here and there, I would say. Yeah. Just as OP said, you don't have to be fluent, but I mean, if you're like at least making an effort to be able to do things in your daily life without relying on other people to help you, that's going to benefit you as well. Yeah. It's just going to make everything smoother. Yeah. Overall. It's just so interesting how they're like so hard-headed about that idea. Yeah.
But I also think like if you have a partner who is, I mean, a native Japanese speaker or just native in another language, like, and you're relying on them for everything, that's got to be so stressful for them.
Yeah. And you kind of have to put yourself in their shoes where if this were you and they were like in your home country and needed help, like if you were willing to go above and beyond to like assist them with literally everything, then I guess, you know, then sure, that's your, you know, your relationship. But
and that's not to say don't ask your spouse or your partner for help. Of course you can, but to have them do like every little thing.
Is, I don't know, it is stressful for sure. I ask my boyfriend, I speak Japanese to an extent, but I still ask my boyfriend for help.
She's really good at Japanese.
No, but like, I ask my boyfriend for help with a lot of stuff, especially things that come in with like City Hall. And I feel guilty that I have to like ask him so much. I mean, he's always helpful and he's always willing to help me, but still sometimes, you know, I wish like, okay, it would be like less stressful for the both of us if I could like understand things more, you know? So, and that just goes for all cases, not just like documents and things like that.
Yeah. My thing, like I will try to do it myself first. And then if I can't figure it out, I'll ask my partner. But yeah, there's definitely a difference between asking for help when you need it and just not trying at all.
Yeah. And assuming you'll get the assistance because you can't or something, or you refuse to.
I have unfortunately encountered a lot of people like this. And heard about people like this. Like someone I used to work with told me about their old boss in Niigata who was an American guy married to a Japanese woman, had children, but he owned an eikaiwa and refused to learn Japanese, of course, but also told his family they cannot speak Japanese at home.
Ew.
That's their native language.
Yeah,
like, you're so insecure.
You're in their country too. Yeah. What do you mean? Oh, like you think he was insecure because maybe they would like talk about him or like maybe just discuss things he didn't want to hear or something. Yeah. That comes from like a really deep place of insecurity for sure. But
also, like when I first moved to Osaka, I was interviewing for some teaching jobs, and one of the managers at this eikaiwa was like a Scottish dude in his 50s, I think. But I was talking about going to language school part-time. I did that for a few months. And And I said like, oh, like I could do the training on this day, but I can't start until this time because of my language class. And he was like, oh, you don't need to study Japanese. You don't need Japanese in this country.
Okay. What? Okay. You don't need Japanese to live in Japan. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take your advice. What?
And another one.
Okay. Another one.
So, the Scottish dude was like a manager at the Eikaiwa, but this next guy was from New Zealand, just like a regular teacher at the Eikaiwa. And I mean, he was a nice guy. It was always pleasant to chat with him. But he said something before about how often at Eikaiwas you work late because you tend to be teaching people after they finish work. So sometimes you'll finish at like 9 or 10 p.m.
Okay.
So yeah, he would finish work and then go home. And he said he didn't know, like every day he didn't know whether his wife was going to leave dinner out for him or not.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yeah, she never tells me. It's always a surprise when I get home. And with no context, you're like, oh, okay, that's sad. You're not communicating.
Yeah.
But later on, when he was talking about moving back to New Zealand, pension was fresh on my mind because I had just done stuff at City Hall regarding pension. And I was like, oh, like when you move back to New Zealand, you can get your pension money back. Yeah. Or at least some of it. And he was like, oh, pension? I don't deal with that stuff. My wife does. And then I was like, oh. And that's why she doesn't tell you if dinner is on the table or not. Because she's probably been like dealing with everything for him for years.
She doesn't have the time, or she probably just doesn't want to anymore. Gnarly. Ooh. What do you mean? Okay. I see we have some spicy comments to this post. Okay. So I'll read the first one.
The top comment.
Yeah, the top comment says, man in his 50s working at an eikaiwa for 15 to 20 years, considering learning the local language too difficult. I can't imagine why any proper companies would feel like they're missing out on employing him. Burn! Yeah.
And the reply to that, I find it ridiculous for someone who teaches a language but refuses to learn another language.
Yeah, that is insane to me too.
Yeah.
That is so baffling, for sure. Any comments we should know about?
This one is kind of mean, so that's why I
okay. Frankie's nice. We're not going to read that one. Okay. But essentially, another commenter says these types of people will never leave their English only bubbles. It's literally insert any excuse to not bother learning Japanese, and they've been making excuses for 20 years already. Yeah, it is really, I don't even want to say the word crazy anymore, like impressive how you can't. Okay, so I'm gonna really, I don't want to sound like those videos of people in like the US and they hear two other people speaking like a language besides English, and there's always like some angry person that's like, this is America, speak English. I'm not trying to sound or be like that person at all. That's not my point. It's, again, I can't stress what Frankie said enough, is like refusing or like insisting that the country change its official language for your convenience.
Yes.
Who are you?
Yes. That is the type of person we are slamming. Not just regular people doing their best, but who are not fluent.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not fluent.
Oh, I'm not. So, but we try.
Yeah, as long as you're trying your best.
Yeah. So that's all we're trying to say. But oh man, I don't know. I think the OP really held, I don't know, the situation with a lot of composure. Yeah. If I were to overhear something like this, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what they meant when they said her, or them and their coworker like gave each other the look. The look. Which is, like, ooh. Okay. So yeah, I get it. Yeah. I agree with that.
I like what OP said.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, good for OP. They work in like an international trading firm. They both speak several languages. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah,
nice.
That was really cool. All right, moving on.
Okay. Next one is a little bit darker.
Yeah. Okay.
Take it away.
Shall I read it? All right. So the title of this post is, What's the psychology behind Butsukari Otoko? Or guys who shoulder barge people. So that's the that's the translation of Butsukari Otoko.
I didn't know that there was a word for it.
Me neither. I don't even know what this is yet.
I know what it is, but let's provide some more context by reading the story.
All right, let's get into it. So I've been in Japan for a long time now, and this has only happened to me once last year walking in the station. I was walking with my colleagues, and this guy, maybe in his 50s, typical salary man, made the point of smashing into me as he walked by. I was in a suit with my colleagues who were all super crusty and old like he was, working my big boy Japanese company job, so it's not even like I could have been mistaken as a tourist or anything. Also, I'm white, and we know Japanese people hate other Asians, so it can't be that. Okay. Anyway, he
fired.
He shoulder barged me pretty hard, and my colleagues asked if I was okay. Besides my dignity, I remained intact. He walked away really fast into the crowd. Whilst it would have been great to go after him and kick the shit out of him, of course, that would be silly and just be a lot of trouble for me. It got me thinking, why? Why do this? I know anyone anywhere in the world has a bad day sometimes, but the fact that Butsukari Otoko has its own Wikipedia page tells me that this is a common thing. Mm-hmm. Is it for some sort of kick where they can feel tough for a second? Okay.
Yeah. So have you ever encountered this Butsukari Otoko?
Not that I can recall. Like I've been in a crowded station where everybody's like kind of bumping into each other, but I've never had someone like in this situation purposefully shoulder check me. And I know I'm not saying it doesn't exist, because I've heard a lot of my friends this has happened to them before, but I always thought it was like a one-time bad experience, but then I kept hearing it, and yeah, is this a real thing? And like you said, I didn't know there was a word for it.
Yeah, I have experienced this in Tokyo, especially at rush hour. Like somebody shoulder checked me, and I was so shocked, and I looked around, and this guy was still going through the crowd, like bumping everybody he could.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't like targeted towards you, but he was still doing it.
But sometimes that does happen, where like certain guys will target women.
Yeah. For what? You know? I don't...
They have no other better way to let out their frustration.
I guess, yeah. Well... I don't know. So I see you opened up the Wikipedia page. So like the post, like the OP said, a Wikipedia page does exist for this term.
Yeah. So I have seen these types of people before, but I didn't know there was a word for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
So it says Butsukari Otoko, bumping man, means a man who deliberately does a ramming attack, mostly against women within a station precinct. They're also called Takuru Otoko, tackle man, Tai Atari Otoko, ramming man, and Butsukari Ojisan, bumping old men.
Sheesh.
So in May 2018, the video of a man carrying out ramming attacks one after another targeting only women within Shinjuku Station, disseminated on Twitter, YouTube, etc. In the wake of this, similar victim reports occurred one after another and were also featured in multiple wide shows. I don't know what wide shows.
Maybe variety shows or like, I don't know, late night shows or something. I don't know.
JR East has given a heads up on it as disruptive behavior and has stepped up vigilance with security guards and station staff. So as for the motives for ramming, the purposes of relieving frustration, molestation, and stage crash have been pointed out. Moreover, a warped feeling of justice for walking smartphones is also cited as a reason.
Oh. I mean, yeah, some people are like...
It's annoying, but I don't feel the need to hurt people.
Yeah, I don't feel the need to like shoulder check someone because they're walking slow on their phone. Just walk around them. Like, how hard is that? I don't know.
Do you want to see the video?
I mean, yeah, we're here. So
I watched it, and it
did you?
It really pissed me off.
Oh no, I'm so nosy, but I need to see now.
So this guy's walking through Shinjuku Station, just shoulder checking every woman he can easily get to.
For what? Okay, so he did it to 2 women so far.
3.
Oh, 3?
4.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm like getting really heated.
Yeah.
And you know, That like really, really upsets me. But I also hope, so there's a person behind that guy recording him. I understand maybe you want to get evidence of it or whatever, but in these moments too, this is becoming such a huge issue everywhere where like people just stand and record and they don't help each other out. And like, I don't know this person's situation, but I really hope after the well, it should have been after the first woman, but after the fifth person, you realize, okay, this is, you know, this guy's doing it with like malicious intent. Maybe I should say something or maybe tell him to stop. Like, I don't get why this is just a separate issue, but like why people just record and then like don't help, you know? Like if you feel like you're in a position to say something, I don't know. I hope you can just tell the guy, like, what are you doing? And like,
I mean, it depends on the situation. Like in this case, it would have been easy to say something, but in more like dangerous
of course. If you're like in concern for your safety, like by all means, you know, be careful. But it's
at least we have some video evidence.
It's like that frustrates me a lot. I didn't know it was that intense, like one after the other, just walking throughout. I thought it was like a one-time thing or something. It's
the worst in Tokyo because the most people are there.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone
Rush hour is really intense.
Rush hour is intense. There's so many people, and like so many people are, you know, they're off paying attention to like their own thing, you know. They're so I think a lot of it just goes unchecked, or you know, so it really sucks.
Yeah. But Japan doesn't really have self-defense laws. So I know as a foreigner, especially, you could be in a pretty dangerous situation even if you're defending yourself, if that person claims that you like attacked them or assaulted them, it will be your fault and you could possibly get deported. So end up feeling more helpless in that situation. And even in more like sinister cases where people are like touching you.
So in that case, of course, like if it helps your case, record it, you know, but I'm just talking about like other people around. So gross.
A couple comments I just wanted to highlight. So somebody said, I go to the gym and stand at 6'2" and I'm 110 kilograms. They do it to me too. So but physics is a bitch and they get a reminder when they bounce off me. I'm not trying to humble brag, just saying size doesn't seem to be an issue.
Interesting.
So.
I don't get it though. Like, how to attack strangers like that.
And somebody else said, yep, I'm 6'3", 100 kilogram powerlifter here. It doesn't really happen much to me, but a while back a guy tried to barge into my pregnant wife when I was with her. I stepped in front of her and crashed into him. Guy folded like a lawn chair and fell on his ass. Naturally, he didn't have much to say as he scurried away. I suppose guys like that only feel comfortable in the sub 50 kilogram pregnant woman class or something.
That's the thing. I'm like waiting for a video of some guy trying to he shoulder checks the wrong person and then they like, I don't know, something like that happens. I want to see something like that. I want justice. Okay.
Ugh.
All right. The next story is okay. So it's very short. The title of this post is Just Got Refused from Joining a Driving School Because I Have a Tattoo. Okay. The poor instructors wouldn't be comfortable with it, apparently. I guess they're worried that the weight of the ink will impair my steering ability. So thoughtful. My effing mistake for blurting out yes when they asked if I had one. That, I mean, we talked about it before with like pools and onsen and things like that. But driving?
I wonder, why is that relevant to driving?
Why is that relative to driving? And like, I can only imagine this being in like the Inaka or something. Like the super countryside.
Deep in the countryside.
I don't know, but how insane.
That was very surprising to me.
I wonder, like, I know it's really hard to, you know your rights and stuff as a foreigner, and like laws and stuff are different everywhere, but is this something you can sue for, do you think, or like take legal action on?
No idea.
Right? Because that's like discrimination, but it's also like, what if that person needs a license for their job or something, you know? Like, what if like, having a driver's license is a requirement? Like, I don't know. That's insane to me, but
Yeah, surprising.
like,
The top comment is, when people live in Japan long enough, they forget it's okay to lie.
yeah, you know, for sure, I totally get that. When I first came to Japan to work for the English company I was in, when you are applying to the job, it asks if you have tattoos. And I had already studied abroad before in Japan, so I knew their like mentality about it. I've experienced it. And I don't know for what reason I wrote yes. I just wanted to be honest. So it was a job application just in case. And then when I got there, of course, I knew it was a teaching job. I was being professional. I wasn't wearing anything that was like revealing the tattoos. They were all hidden. And they gave me a lecture at school on my first day. And I was like, okay, but you don't even like see it or know it where it is, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It is what it is. All right.
Yeah. Hopefully they found another driving school.
Yeah, that's crazy. But this next one is very funny, at least.
Yeah, the next couple stories are not really dark at all. They're just kind of like random.
Random and lighthearted, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so the title of this one is, What is that god-awful smell in Sunshine City? Okay. So Sunshine City is like a shopping mall in Ikebukuro in Tokyo. So apparently it stinks.
Okay.
I've been to Sunshine City in Ikebukuro on 3 different occasions during my time in Japan. Every time I enter via the main street and through the long stretch with the flat escalators, I am assaulted with what can only be described as the stench of raw sewage. I have a pretty high tolerance for stink, but that place is eye-watering. Has anyone else experienced this?
It has 61 upvotes, so quite a lot of people have actually. At least 61
people have smelled that.
Yeah.
Smell.
The top comment is, I believe it's literally raw sewage. Tokyo has lots of areas that smell like raw sewage. That's like a Tokyo meibutsu, like a famous point of Tokyo. Did you notice there was a smell when you were living there? I can't remember like any certain parts of Tokyo being smelly like that.
Yeah, I don't really remember. And I think I've only been in Sunshine City once. But
I haven't heard about like Tokyo, but I had friends who were living in Tokyo come to visit me in Osaka. And I was like, how was it? And they're like, it's really stinky here. Like they thought Osaka was stinky. And I was like,
I mean, maybe like,
how dare you?
Maybe just Namba.
Yeah, that's fair. There's so many things happening down there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Another comment was that there are some places like this in Osaka too.
Oh, there you go.
I literally gagged in front of Edion in Namba because I was hit by a particularly potent blend.
There you go. There you have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe some places just aren't set up for sewage like that? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in these cities, so yeah, maybe the sewage gets backed up sometimes. I don't know. But that really, that just made me laugh. What's that god-awful smell in Sunshine City?
There's one, it says, it's probably sewage or ramen prep. And
hey.
Yes. Hey, yes.
Hey.
Okay, so I know what you mean. And what this person means too is like, especially, okay, so when I went to Fukuoka,
oh, do they dump stuff in the street?
I don't know if they're like dumping their ramen, whatever, in the street. But Fukuoka is like famous for tonkotsu ramen, right? That's like Ichiran and everything like that. And so obviously there's a lot of places around Fukuoka City that have tonkotsu ramen. And I don't know if it's the way, because what is tonkotsu, like pork, like bone broth or something? So the way it's prepared is like, it tastes so good. Don't get me wrong. But when I don't know if it's like when it's being cooked or maybe when it's done like being prepared or whatever, that smell is so potent. And I can understand how some people might mistake it for something not pleasant. Yeah. Okay. So I just thought that was a funny comment. It got like 40 upvotes too. Okay. So
what was the reply to it? No, it was
same.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Someone just said, welcome to Ikebukuro. Okay. Nice.
Okay, and our last Reddit story.
Okay, so if you remember our word of the day, one of them was Gomi tantou, so person in charge of trash. Yep. So the title is, I am in charge of the trash station, Gomi tantou, this week. My life... What? Let me start over.
Do you need to make the text bigger?
Yeah, or else I'm gonna be on Ariana Grande. Like, what show was she on? Like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, when she was like squinting like at the screen trying to see it. Okay. That's how I feel. Okay, so restart. My wife leaves for work earlier than I do, so the job of unlocking the community trash collection cage is mine. Preferably, I should open it at about 5 a.m., but I may not wake up at that time, so it's okay to open it around midnight. But I should not put out our trash at that time because someone might see and start talking. I will take our trash out at the correct time between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. Last week, I took the unburnable trash out at 8:45, but it already had been collected, so I turned around and took it back home. At our last place, the trash was collected at about 11 a.m. Not here. We moved here full time this month and have been slowly tidying things up. My first job, as well as cleaning out old barns and unpacking, was to clean up my vegetation that had overgrown our boundary and the weeds that had grown in the cracks in the concrete storm gutters with a brush cutter. I was doing this last week around 10 a.m. on the main road when the fire siren went off and the loudspeaker from the town office mentioned a fire. 8 fire engines, some volunteer, went past, and also 2 police cars. Turns out it was arson, and the arsonist had not been found. The local community leader was spoken to by the police, and they were told I was working hard at the time, good alibi, and had been doing good work cleaning things up, and they saw the now pristine boundaries. Hopefully, I don't fall asleep before unlocking the cage and can keep my reputation intact. First impressions count everywhere. And see.
It's just the most random
Yeah,
thing.
it has 0 votes, like 27 comments, though.
Top comment. What is the purpose of this post?
The next one says, Dear Diary.
Next one. He has a plan.
The next one, to provide an alibi for the arson. There was no particular reason we wanted to bring this up. It wasn't controversial or anything. It was just so silly,
very funny,
mundane. Yeah,
but it reminded me of, like, speaking of Gomi, tantou. Like, when you live in a house, you are kind of forced into joining like the only other equivalent I can think of is like a homeowners association.
Okay.
Like, I'm renting a house right now. So I thought because we don't own the house, like, they kind of would leave us alone.
Yeah,
but we were still, like, kind of bullied into joining the
I didn't know
homeowners
that.
association.
Ew.
It's only 3,000 yen for the year. But still, they tell you, like...
But you have to pay for it?
Yeah. They tell you, like, oh, if you don't join, then you
What?
can't leave your trash out.
Oh.
Which I don't understand because it's the city hall's job. Like, if you live in the city, you have the right to
throw away your garbage.
throw away your trash.
What?
But like, oh, okay, whatever, to keep the peace. Like, yeah, that's fine. But they always have somebody to do the gomi tantou.
Yeah.
Someone who's in charge of cleaning up the net after it's picked up. But for my partner and I, we travel so much for work.
Okay.
And the time that our trash gets picked up is really inconsistent. Sometimes it's 9:30, sometimes it's 1 p.m. So, like, we're not usually home to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we told them, like, oh, it's okay if we join, but, like, please keep us out of the gomi tantou because we're not going to be home, so we don't want the net to just be laying there all day.
And were they okay with that?
Yeah, they were fine with
Okay.
it for now.
For now.
But still, yeah, they really pressure you into joining. So if you ever live in a house in Japan, just know you're going to have to join the thing. And they also pass out something called, like, the kaidanban, which is like a bulletin. And we also asked them to to keep us off of that too.
Yeah.
Because it comes like a few times a week sometimes, and everybody has to put their hanko, their stamp on it, and then pass it to the next house.
Oh man.
So for me, like, I don't want to ring my neighbor's doorbell. And, like,
It sounds like you live in like a really traditional old neighborhood.
Not really.
No?
Our city is pretty modern, I feel.
That sounds worse than or not worse than. It sounds like living in like a suburb with very nosy neighbors or something. I don't know how to explain it. Like I love like being friendly with your neighbors. I think it's important to like have that sense of community and know your neighbors, but like knocking on the door to get their honk, like, this is the most Japanese thing ever. Like, you have to knock on the door to hand a piece of paper, like a physical thing that cannot, for whatever reason, just be an email to everybody, and then they have to stamp it with their personal seal, and then you have to wait for them to do that and then go to the next house. So Japanese. Like, that's all I can describe it as. Oh man.
But we're keeping the sense of community.
I mean, yeah, keep the community, of course. Like, know your neighbors, but why? Also, this post is just so funny.
Yeah, this post cracked me up.
I love that Dear Diary comment.
Preferably, I should open it at about 5 a.m., but I may not wake up at that time.
Yeah, I love how there's so many details and not to like one question in the post, like not asking for advice. It is a stream of thought. Like there's no like complaints really either. Like it's not like they're just ranting and getting something off their chest. It's really just like a nikki, like a diary. Yeah,
I love it.
Very, very pure.
This is a very good peek into daily life.
Yeah, actually, like daily, mundane, non-exciting life here. Yeah, how funny.
Okay.
That was very cute.
All right. I had a few random current events.
Okay. The titles are piquing my curiosity.
Yeah, the news stories. The title of the first one, this is from a publication called the Mainichi. It's one of the main news publications in Japan. So the title is, "We were told to target foreigners. Ex-officer on systematic racial profiling by Japan police."
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, I can link these articles below, but yeah, the ex-police officer was just explaining, like, here's a quote from the article. "In the time I was in the local policing section, we were told to target foreigners for questioning and check their foreign registration cards. There was also a, quote, cracking down on foreigners, unquote, month when we were ordered to put extra effort into checking cards, but also searching foreigners for drugs, knives, or anything else illegal." Taro Yamada, a pseudonym, told the Mainichi. Yamada, who joined the police in the 2000s and served for over 10 years, added that the order had come from the Criminal Investigation Division with a particular emphasis on catching visa violators. Damn. Yeah,
I don't know.
So they're trying to catch people that were overstaying their visas. I wonder how, like, statistically, how many people overstay their visas here?
I don't know. I wonder if it's a lot. I don't know. I mean, I know people have different like circumstances and stuff, but there are a lot of cases of like, what do you call it? Like negligence in, what is it called? The immigration, like where you're held for overstaying your visa. Not like prison, like
the detention
center. Yeah, like the immigration detention center or something.
From what I hear, it is very, very harsh in there.
It's very harsh.
I do not recommend overstaying your visa.
Yeah, and it is really sad. A lot of people have, passed away in there, and like they suffer like, maybe they have like medical issues that they want to have addressed, and they just get ignored to the point of, where it's too late. So I don't know, but targeting foreigners and things, that's a little unfair, I think, too. I think that's just an excuse they're using. Yeah. Well, have you ever been stopped to get asked for your residence card?
Personally, no, but I hear a lot that they tend to target foreigners of color.
I have been twice, but in the same week, actually. But both times I never have a loan. So the both times I got asked, I was with a group of friends, and yeah, they were all like Americans, and a lot of them were like, your typical looking Americans, blonde hair and all that stuff. So they asked us. My advice is they're going to ask you if this ever does happen to you and you're like living here and working here. I mean, I don't see who else who has a Zaidu card would not be working here, but they're going to ask things like where you work. You do not have to tell them your specific workplace because I think they're just doing stuff like this. They're probably checking for your visa, or they're just targeting you for no reason. They asked me and my friends where we worked, like what we did. We just said we're English teachers. And then some of them, like one cop did ask what school, and I didn't tell. I said like I work at many schools, or like I just teach privately, because they're not immigration specialists. They're not gonna dig deep into what you do specifically. And then some are just like, okay. And then I've seen them like write notes like on this scratch piece of paper they pull out like from their pocket. It's not even an official document or anything, but they'll like write your information, like your job and some whatever, your phone number or whatever, and then I've seen them just like toss it in their pocket again. Like it's nothing official. I think they just need to look like they're taking notes or something. So it's really frustrating, but if that ever happens, I don't know, good luck. I saw someone get out of showing their residence card or get out of showing what's in their bag. It was a girl. And they stopped her and she was kind of like recording it, and they were like, show us what's in your bag, and she's like, no, I don't want to. Have you seen this?
No, but I don't know why that made me think of like a YouTube video, like what's in my bag.
Oh, no. no,
that's the bad version of what's in my bag.
Yeah. So they're kind of pushing her, like, we need to see. And she's like, why? Do I look suspicious? And they're like, no, you don't look suspicious. We're just checking, like, you know, we're doing random checks on foreigners and blah, blah, blah. And then she was just like, I don't want to show you, like, I don't have to show you what's in my bag. And then so after a few back and forth, she was like, okay, can you, like, I don't want to show you because I have like panties in here. She's like, I think she just lied, but she was like, I have panties. And they're like, oh, sumimasen, I'm so sorry, like, it's okay. And then they turn around. So
okay.
I don't know, I guess you can be creative, but I don't know, it's just like, it obviously wasn't that serious to them if that was like, you know what, but I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
All right. The next article is very short, so if you wouldn't mind reading the whole thing.
Okay, I can read. So the title is Dentist Arrested on Suspicion of Attempted Murder at Hospital.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun. So I guess this took place in Miyagi. Police in Osaki, Miyagi Prefecture have arrested a 35-year-old dentist on suspicion of attempted murder and assault after he strangled a female dental hygienist in her 40s at the hospital where they both work. According to the police, Shinya Hachiya, a dentist at Osaki Municipal Hospital, is accused of strangling his assistant on April 15th, TV Asahi reported. Another female dental hygienist who is in her 30s tried to stop Hachiya, and he yanked her by the hair and pushed her away. Other employees intervened to restrain Hachiya. The two women suffered injuries to their necks, police said. Police said Hachiya has partially denied the allegation. He was quoted saying, I pressed my hands against the woman's neck, but I didn't use that much force.
Sure.
Okay. Police said they were questioning Hachiya and the two dental hygienists about what started the trouble. So I guess they're still investigating, but yeah, that's interesting.
But the title of the article is Arrested on Suspicion of Attempted Murder. So yeah, if you pressed your hands against a woman's neck and didn't use that much force, would you be accused of attempted murder?
Yeah. Oh, man. That's scary.
Yeah.
All right.
And the last one is titled Maternity Leave Cookies Spark Online Storm in Japan Over Lack of Consideration.
What?
What
does that mean?
This is also from the Mainichi. The previous article was from Japan Today. But yeah, I'm just going to read this one really quickly. So, Tokyo. Cookies adorned with pictures of babies and the polite message, quote, I will be taking maternity leave. I apologize for any inconvenience caused and thank you for your understanding, unquote, were recently introduced on X, formerly Twitter, and the reaction was as quick as it was harsh. The cookies are gift ideas for women going on maternity leave to hand out to their coworkers, but the X comments were less than appreciative. Quote, they are inconsiderate of people undergoing infertility treatment, unquote, and quote, the happy aura is annoying, quote, unquote, among them. However, searching for maternity leave cookies on major online shopping sites reveals a variety on offer, suggesting they're not so uncommon a gift. Business etiquette instructor Akiko Mizuki says of the cookies, in my personal opinion, criticism to that extent may not be necessary and advises, sensitive topics are often subject to criticism, so it's safer to handle them with care. Okay? In particular, going on maternity leave itself can invoke envy from people who want to have children, and there also may be colleagues who harbor resentment about the workload implications. Okay. Mizuki says, while it's tough that this society doesn't embrace maternity leave, all we can do is follow the basics of manners and consider others' feelings. It's important to use your imagination considering the various situations people may be in when sharing news such as marriage or childbirth.
Okay. Any thoughts
So
on this
people
one?
are hating these cookies.
They're cookies.
Man, take the cookie.
Yeah, take the cookie. I give you a cookie, you take the cookie. What is that from? New Girl? New Girl. But yeah, I think, was it just the last episode we talked about all kinds of hara? And I said, mata hara, like maternity leave harassment. Like, this is a good example of that. I understand, you know, if there's any people who are having troubles like conceiving, or maybe they had like a loss or anything. I understand like that might be, it might sting a little, you know, to work with someone who's like, what did they say? That the happy aura is really, you know, annoying to them. I get that. But this person, at least in this case, I believe probably didn't do it with like malicious intent, you know? They're literally saying, sorry, I'm leaving for a bit. Like, I appreciate you taking on my workload. Here's a cookie.
Yeah, and it's hard. Like, you probably don't know exactly what every single person in the office is going through. So, yeah, it's tough. But I mean, I don't know. Personally, I think the cookie is like a very innocent thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the cookie said anything like, haha, you have to stay here, peace out, you know, or like I don't know what else could have been done besides not giving any cookies, you know.
I think some people are probably interpreting it as like, ooh, I get to go on a long vacation, when literally having a newborn is a lot
it's
of
like
work.
harder than any work you could ever do in any office or company ever.
And like the process of giving birth itself is very physically demanding and life-threatening. So yeah, it's not like they are just going on a fun vacation for a bit.
It's like, it's so sweet too, in my opinion, that someone who is dealing with like, you know, preparing to have a child while working and doing all this stuff, they still had the time and consideration to pass out these cookies to their coworkers. Like, I don't know. It's just take the nice gesture for what it is and eat your cookie, and that's it. If you're salty about it, but. Yeah, I don't want to be insensitive. Like they said, there are people who maybe have like fertility issues and things like that. So I understand, but also like we can't villainize other people for like getting pregnant too, you know? Yeah.
That reminded me of something I saw on Instagram, like a survey that was done about how people feel about the maternity mark. So there's kind of like a badge you can get from City Hall when you register your pregnancy, to let people know that you're pregnant. And it's mostly for like medical reasons.
Reasons. If there's an emergency, you kind of hang it on your bag like a little keychain too. So maybe people, it like kind of encourages people to like offer their seat to pregnant women too. Things like that. But
from this survey, it seemed like a lot of people found the badge to be annoying, and they're like, oh, these women are just trying to get a free seat on the train.
Okay. Like, calm down.
Yeah. I'm trying to find
what are you looking for?
So I can also link these below. There's some results of like I think it was a 2016 survey. People cited like specific reasons why maternity marks make them feel uncomfortable. A male, 38 years old, said it's unclear whether she's actually pregnant or not. It's not like she's pretending to be pregnant to get her to give up her seat. What? Yeah. A female, 31 years old, said, I'm trying to say, I feel like they're telling me from above to give them the priority seats. Another female, 36 years old, said, I think pregnant women should stay home.
What? And that's coming from another woman. Okay. What?
Yeah. 3 out of 4 of these are from other women.
Oh, man.
So, like, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
But hang on. There's something else I was looking for.
Someone said, just stop. I feel like I'm being forced. Forced to do what?
To do what? Okay. So here are specific instances of women with the maternity mark feeling like they were in personal danger or things that made them uncomfortable. A female, 32 years old, says, I once got tongue clicked in front of my priority seat. Like when someone goes, someone asks, are you really pregnant? Okay. Another person, I was tongue lashed because I was walking slowly. As you would if you're carrying a watermelon.
Yeah.
Another female, 30 years old, said, I was slapped in the stomach.
What?
A female, 29 years old, said a drunk elderly man said to me, "You're so bossy and you're wearing such marks. Don't get carried away. I almost got punched in the stomach."
Oh my God.
I am just so flabbergasted how people like hate this maternity mark so much. Like how
I see it a lot, and I've literally thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
And
like,
it's not hard to do.
Great.
Yeah, like it's really not hard to see something and look away. You know? What about it is so frustrating to these people, you know?
Yeah, and there's one article on Yahoo Japan, and part of it says that like sometimes hospitals even advise women to not wear the maternity mark because it can put them in more danger.
How?
Kind of the same reason that like if you put like baby on board in your car, like it can make you a target.
Oh, for like kidnappers and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so having the maternity mark, which is supposed to be a good thing,
I know,
makes some people feel very sour.
That's really unfortunate. That
makes me feel like when I have a baby someday, like I don't even want to be on public transportation. Yeah,
that made me just very fearful. Like I thought I've only viewed this thing as a positive thing, because again, I just associated it with medical reasons, you know, and so especially
like I have fainted a couple times on the train. So like if that were to happen when I was pregnant, like I would want people to know that like there's extra like caution.
Right. And sometimes, especially with these badges, like you kind of know like, okay, she's pregnant, maybe like she could be going into labor or something, and then you just the action for it can be so much faster if you know that information beforehand. That's like the only thought I've ever had, and so I viewed it as like pretty positive, you know. And now like I don't know when the time comes. Yeah, I don't know when the time comes like what I'll do if I'm like, you know, gonna put that. I probably will, because again, medical emergency, but like according to these articles and like these opinions by women, now it feels like a target on my back or something, like you said. So yeah, it's kind of scary, but
I'm sure, I mean, I hope that the majority of people who wear them are like totally fine and they've had great experiences, but I think it's also good to be aware of the risks with anything as well. So I'm sorry. That was a that was a downer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But anyway, congrats on that new mama. Ganbare. You can do your best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry nobody liked the cookies. Or a lot of people didn't like the cookies. I would like a maternity leave cookie.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, thanks, you know, and just
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. See ya, you know. I haven't received a specific maternity cookie like that, but again, when I was like working in a school, I had teachers that came back from maternity leave and they got everyone like a gift and like cookies and things like that. And it was just like, in their case though, they weren't highlighting, you know, it was obviously because they took maternity leave, but the way they worded it was like, sorry, I was gone for so long. So I still appreciated it. I don't think anyone was like offended by that, you know? So I don't know. But anyway, is that all we have for today?
Yeah, that's all we have for today.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to leave on a happier note, but I'm so tired. I can't think of anything else.
I know. We're pretty like worked. We were worked out. What? I can't even like articulate it
today.
For you
guys. I hope you enjoyed this. As always, feedback is welcome. If you have stories or questions, you can email us at conbinicultpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
Yeah, let us know like what things you would like to see on the podcast. What do you want us to look into more? What you want us to ask people on Instagram, because it's always good to have some other opinions besides our own.
Maybe
someday we'll have a guest. But for now, we only have 2 mics, so
sorry. So maybe we can do like interviewer style, like a street interview, smash or pass.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Natto, smash or pass?
Natto? Smash. You?
Smash. Okay.
Smash.
That's where we'll leave you. Bye.
Beautiful.